Hey, Pinkies, it's
Hey
me.
guys, it's me,
Key to B.
Rachel.
And this is TALKinPINk. Where me and this bitch, y'all know what we do. We talk
shit for an hour.
For a whole hour. So, this week, it feels like it has not been a whole week. It feels like maybe 2 days.
Okay, so you feel like that too?
Like,
I'm
like,
not even lying. I think about the days every day. I get up, go to work, and I'm like, wait, what's today? What's today? Oh, it's the weekend? And then when you close your eyes, you open them again, it's like, wait, it's Monday?
It's like
where's
a
the
snap.
time going?
And I think, I do believe in alternate realities. I ain't even gonna lie, because I think anything is possible. And I think that our time, we're going so fast that we can't even catch up.
True.
And a lot of stuff that we will do is already in the past, and that, and we're just like in this space time continuum, like, we don't know the full spectrum of what it is, where we are, everything about, what's going on. Right. We just here.
Yeah.
Trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. But anyway, did you have anything interesting? You've been home alone
I have been home alone, and I have.
It's about to come to an end.
It is about to come to an end, and you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm well aware of. It doesn't seem like it's been as many days as it has been, but my baby girl is out there living her best life, and I'm happy that she's enjoying life and experiencing things outside of me. Yeah. And it's also giving me that time that I need. So I feel like this was a time for both of us to just take a break from one another. But I've been getting my house together. Remember, I keep talking about I need to get my room together, my vanity, my bathroom, the downstairs. I'm done with my room. I know it's been 2.5 weeks. It took that long for me to be by myself.
You got a lot of shit, though.
I have a lot of shit. Like I'm low key a hoarder, and I feel like I feel like I'm a high key hoarder, but I feel like it's inherited from my parents. My parents were both hoarders. They just kept shit. And I'm like, why am I even I don't even wear this. I don't fit this. This is not even me anymore. Yes, the furniture. But for me, it's clothes, it's shoes, it's items, and even things that the girls have, when they first went to school. This is kindergarten. This is first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. And I'm like, I don't need to keep all this shit. I'm going to take a fucking picture, print it out, and move the fuck on. Like, I don't need this shit to be in the way. So I got my bedroom together, and I feel like a whole sexy adult. Like, this made me more... I know y'all know that I'm into myself, but this made me more into myself. When I walk at that door and I look in there, I'm like, you ready for me? Because I'm ready for you. Like, it's a whole vibe. I was like, it's so sad that I had to get rid of my kids to even dig into all of this, but it makes me feel so good to walk in, just to the door. Space. And I look and I'm like, and it's all me. I'm ready. It's all me by myself, and I'm ready. And I've just, been doing things here and there, putting up. Who knew that putting up curtains would make me feel like an adult? And I have more LED lights than I really should even have, but it's LED lights everywhere. And I see how inspirational LED lights can be. Mm-hmm. They can set a whole mood, a vibe. Girl,
like candles.
I was just about to say, I even went to the dollar store and I got the little wick candles, the ones you turn on and off, because I want to have a vibe, but my vibes can get messy, so I don't need to burn down shit. I know I got insurance, but that ain't what I'm trying to do. If I'm gonna have a moment, I want to stay in that moment, and I want to feel good, and I want to feel, sexy. And candles do it for me, and lights do it for me.
I just want to know, when is the garage sale?
Garage sale? I'm putting shit. I ain't selling nothing. I'm putting it all out the front door. Come pick this shit up. If you can pull it away, you can have it. I literally got the girls' beds. Like, it's just, I'm sorry, not beds, because beds are nothing, but mattresses. So they both got new mattresses. And I'm going from a king to the queen that I am, because I want more space. But I'm like, I don't even need this big ass bed no more.
So you're going from a king to a queen?
I was a queen, then I went to a king, now I'm going back to a queen.
Because you're a queen.
Because I'm a queen, and I'm fine with that. But I want that space. I want those inches around that space. I can use that. I want to see that floor, and I want to see that pretty rug that I'm gonna put down. it's just a whole vibe, and
what they call it, feng shui.
It's feng shui. It's sexy to me, and I love it. It literally puts my mind at ease, because remember I used to come home and I'm like, I have an attitude about going home because I know what I'm about to walk into. I don't have to do that anymore.
Or tornado.
Exactly. And it's like, ugh, you ain't even trying to clean up. You ain't calling no help, no nothing. You just gonna sit in it. But I don't feel like that anymore. Downstairs, I still have a lot of work to do. But I was like, you know what, Rachel, we just gonna focus on one room. And the most important room to me is mine.
They say a clear or a clutter-free house is a clutter-free mind.
Yeah, I need that.
Yeah.
Because our minds are heavy. And I need that freedom and that clarity. And so when I go home and I look at my bed and I take that shower or that nice bubble bath, you know, I just want to know I'm about to get into that nice comfy bed and relax and go watch TV or porn.
But anywho, the person you heard giggling, Pinkies, we have a guest today.
Exactly. We did not tell her how this part go.
Right, we forgot.
That's typically how it happens, so we just be talking.
We just be talking. But we have a guest. The giggly person is Miss Noi, our matchmaker not from Houston, but she is here in Houston, and she's ready to sit.
A matchmaker is just one of the things.
Right.
One of the hats that
one hat.
Right. It's just one.
So I'm gonna allow her. I'm gonna give her the floor, give her the microphone, and let her introduce herself and tell us all that she reigns over.
Oh, that's so sweet. So, thank you guys for actually having me on your podcast. I'm so excited about this. Well, I'm a matchmaker. I call myself a love guru, but I do real estate. I'm an energy consultant. I'm also a matchmaker. But I also believe in the creative side. So I'm also into wellness, fitness industry. And so with that, I host dinner events. I collaborate with other chefs, so I believe mind, body, and spirit. So I started my matchmaking in New York, but I'm originally from California, but I'm here in Houston, so I'm excited about that. I feel like you need a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of something here. So so I'm excited. I'm excited about that. So
Well, welcome.
So how long have you been doing all that you do?
Well, real estate, I've always done real estate for like 20-something years. I think we spoke a little bit. I have 3 grown sons. So I have 2 in the military and 1 in college. I have a 24-year-old, I have a 21-year-old, and a 19-year-old.
And you still look like this.
Right.
Oh,
after all of that.
Stress-free.
Right. Exactly.
Like nothing. None of them years you can see.
Look, so when people walk up to you and they see you with any of your sons, they're like, got your little young boyfriend over there.
So ladies, I was having dinner with my oldest son one time. I took him, he was like, Mom, he was 18. He was like, I want to take you out for my birthday, and I'm going to pay for it. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm like, I raised him. So he was 18. So he's like, let's go to the movie and dinner, and I'll pay for it. I'm like, okay.
On his birthday.
Yeah,
she did all the work.
Exactly.
Okay. So we went to dinner, and we were dining, and the waitress gives I'm so used to them giving it to me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And she actually gave it to him. And I was like, and then she said, oh, you guys are something like a nice couple. And I was like, no. Because I'm really short. But my ex-husband is tall. He's like 5'9". So, and having boys and being girls are different height-wise, right?
Yeah.
So, and so my kids were like, my youngest one, just actually comical. He's the tallest. He's like 5'9", and he's the baby. He usually gets teased the most. You know what I mean? So, so anyway, so it was fun though. I was like, oh, you're taking his mom out for dinner.
I know.
So that was very, very sweet. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So and I know you guys mentioned you guys have girls,
and
I have boys.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
how is that? How do you see yourself parenting different because you have boys? Because I know you're around a lot of people, and they have girls, and it's an unspoken.
There's a big difference.
It is a big difference, but it's also an unspoken cliche sometimes with women parenting boys and girls. How do you see yourself parenting? Like, how is your parenting different?
Sure. So I grew up in a very traditional Asian household. It's just me and my brother. So I always joke around and say my brother's the favorite. My mom didn't let me do anything. I go to the bathroom, she's like this. I go this. I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
She's
Harder
like,
on girls.
Yeah. She's always
and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right.
always like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, God, I'm just going to the bathroom. Like, give me some space.
Right.
But and after when the pandemic hit, I was living in New York City, but we had that lockdown. So I was trying to figure out and that's how I wound up in Houston. I was there for 2-3 years, and that's when I started my matchmaking as well. But I was like, you know what? Family's very important to me. Yeah. I was busy raising my own kids. Now they're grown, living their life. Because sometimes we pause our life sometimes.
Yes, a lot.
So I said, you know what? I can't pause myself no more. I'm going to figure out who Noi is. What do I like to do? What do I want to do? Because it was all about them, Even food. What do you guys want to eat?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, blah, blah. There's 3 of them, so we always take account. Okay. Okay, who wants this? Who wants that? Okay, majority wins. That's it. You know what I mean? Type of thing. Yeah, nope, that's it. So
right.
It is,
Right.
So, and then I think we become people pleaser as well. You know what I mean? So when the pandemic hit, I was like, nobody knew my moves. Yeah. I was like, well, I was ready to kind of be close to my family. I've been raising my kids for 20-something years, living in the East Coast. My mom lives in Denver. My family lives in California. And then my stepsister lives here. So I was like, So once I got the opportunity to fly, because we had that no-fly thing,
right.
I went to go visit my mom. But nobody knew, so I was, my brother was visiting. We usually go around on 4th of July. And I was like, and I'm very, spontaneous type of person. And I was like, hey, Vor, I'm going to go see you for dinner tomorrow. He's like, okay. He was like, my sister come for dinner. I'm like, listen, I may talk a lot of shit, but I'm going to back it up. And it's like, see you for dinner, Mom. Right. So that was, a couple years ago. But Denver's a little too cold for me. California, like I said, I'm a big believer of,
sunshine.
Divine timing. And I just came and visit. And I fell in love with Houston.
Yes,
I did.
That's beautiful.
So I was like, I can be anywhere around the world, anywhere I want to be, and I'm here.
Right.
So I know that God has a plan and has something great.
Right.
And maybe to match people up, you never know.
Exactly.
Maybe just for somebody, you never know, So
just back to the original question. So were you hard on your sons or no? Were
exactly.
you like your mom?
I noticed mothers of sons are
very
nurturing, lenient, more understanding at times. Than girls.
I think with me, I had that military. My ex-husband was in the Marine Corps. So I think with that, I know that I try to be nurturing, but I also want to implement discipline as well.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but just when I was with my brother, I noticed the difference with girls and boys.
Right.
Yes.
Because I wasn't really raised with girls.
Right.
And me, even though I'm very girly outside, but I'm very
hardcore.
Yes, I'm like, don't even try me.
Don't fuck with me.
I look like this.
I look like this,
and I'm tiny.
I'm like this, and I just give my kids a look like. And people are like that look, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Look, because I have 3 kids. I'm like, don't even.
Yes.
I'm like, don't even.
So they didn't even try you when they got a little bit older because you're mommy and you're tiny. They're not like, Mom, I will They never tried to buck up to you or intimidate you because of their size.
Honestly, they may try, but they knew better.
They
didn't go
too far.
Oh yeah.
Because listen, I would get their and pinch them. You know what I mean? I'm just don't even. You know what I mean? Don't even. Type of thing.
Well, see, you're not a fair person to have this conversation with because you're right. I can tell by our previous conversation, you're a bit of a hard ass. So I feel like I want to have a conversation with because when I was raised, the women are so easy on boys. So easy, but the girls are like, as soon as you hit this age, you gotta fucking get out, and so you can't do anything right. It's this and that and this. So the girls have a harder time, and they're more disciplined than the boys are. The boys are like, well, don't do that, and because I gotta stay on.
Don't bring no babies.
Right, home. And that's just the only thing. Just don't bring babies home. Don't go to jail.
Right.
Don't bring babies home.
Right.
And so it's harder and it's difficult. I want to go back to something that you were saying before you actually answered the question. And it's putting ourselves on hold.
Sure.
Why do we as women
really
put everybody's needs before ours?
I got to answer for that. But I'm going to let you talk.
I'm going to let our guest answer this question first. We're mothers, we're nurturers, we are wives, we're girlfriends, we're
do all.
We're everything.
Exactly.
We're multitasker. Women are known
everything.
To,
but
women,
why?
yes.
But listen, why do we have to have a successful relationship with our spouse, but still putting ourselves on the back burner? Why do we have to be a great parent, but still putting our kids and spouses' needs before us? Why do we do that? Because I notice it's not culturally Black. It's a woman thing.
It is.
Worldwide. Mm-hmm. Why is that the norm? Like, why are we being taught that and then going ahead and teaching our children that for the next generation?
Right.
Why do we do that?
No, that's a great question.
Because your kids had to leave, and you had to get a divorce. Your kids had to leave for you to figure out, okay, who am I and what is it I really want to do to make me happy?
Exactly. I think with myself, and I talk to a lot of women, is like, I think, like I can speak for myself, is I didn't have a father. So I'm always trying to like make up for lost things, so to speak. So you can go the extreme. Right. And there's like, different attachment styles too, right? So I didn't kind of grow up with no therapy. I kind of just kind of figure it out. But I knew I was very young. So I already knew that, I wouldn't say the odds were against me, but I knew that I was very young. I knew how to make it happen. So I gave everything to them because I didn't have that. Right. So I think subconsciously, I think a lot of times if you don't, things in your past, subconsciously we're not aware of that. Yeah. So with my boys, I was like, I didn't have a father, so I'm gonna be the best mom and dad, you know what I mean? Yeah. Type of thing, I'm gonna give them whatever I didn't have, right? Right. So, but that's not also healthy.
Right. That hurts us more. Yeah. And it doesn't teach them to also be appreciative or grateful.
Or responsible or anything.
Yeah. And why do you say you don't want to say that the odds were stacked against you? They were pretty thin.
Oh, yeah.
They were more slim to anything there. The odds were literally stacked against you. Yeah, well. And you still chose to put all of these people and all of these situations before you making you happy. Why can't our children and our spouses see us being happy as well as helping them be great? Sure. And helping them be successful. Why do we always have to water ourselves, dumb ourselves down to make sure he's secure and stable, to make sure they're successful and they're happy? I noticed that when I'm experiencing things with my daughters, that's not teaching them anything. That's literally teaching them, just to mask what you're experiencing, because you'll get over it or you'll grow out of it, and you won't.
Right. Yeah.
You won't.
No. That's one thing that I always wanted to be with my boys, because I knew obviously I'm a woman, that I want them to respect women. I want them to treat in a certain type of way. Yeah. And my ex-husband didn't have a father nor a mother. Right. So it was very, you know what I mean? So, but one thing we wanted to teach our boys to respect women. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I always wanted to be that positive role model. Right. Because at the end of the day, moms are going to be their first love. Right. Yep. True. So, but I just remember like doing everything. Because I think we're trying to be like Superwoman, right? I think maybe it's society try to implement that. Yes. Like, you got to be.
You know what? I don't think it's that we have to do it because, the society teaches us that. It's just that we know ain't nobody else going to do it.
Right.
So we feel like
we just do
ourselves. Right.
And it's not as if we're trying to be super. Yeah. It's just that we just know that if I don't do it, it's not going to get done.
It needs to get done. Like it needs to get done. Like
even when we allow people to help us, because we've had these conversations ourselves, and we're like, I tell her, well, why don't you allow your husband to help you? Or why don't you allow the kids to help you? And then her response is, it's not going to be done right. And I said, no, it's not going to be done to your standards, but it is going to get done. We have
still waiting on my husband to fold clothes.
But listen, but this is how I was. If I'll let my girls fold the towels and everything, and then I'll go behind them and fold them. I stopped doing that. You know why? Because that's not teaching them anything.
Yeah, I let them put them in there just the way they did.
Exactly. And so I'm like, oh, this is how you want to fold that? Yes, ma'am. Well, go girl, put it up then. Yeah. So, I want to praise them and then show them, well, that's how you do it, but this is how mommy does it. But I literally would go behind my ex and fix things to the way that I liked, but not really giving him a voice, or even an opportunity to be great in his own right. For me, it was just like, that's not how I wanted it. Like, I understand you did it, but that's not how I wanted it. And I feel like sometimes we continue this heavy load because it's not the way that we want it to look. Right. Or want it to be. And I'm just like, no, we need some of this shit taken off of us. So if they gonna do it in that fucked up manner, somebody's gonna come to the house and, hey, girl, why your curtains look like that? Girl, he put them up, and I am so grateful that he did because I ain't had to worry about it. So
Exactly.
It's like, why are we gonna fight over this?
Story.
Right? We don't have to fight over the simplest things. If someone wants to do something to lighten our load, we should let them do it. And I don't make excuses for my daughters. I'm very transparent.
Sure.
And maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing for them, depending on who you ask or who's watching. But I want them to make decisions. And every decision we're not going to agree on. And it's not going to, but my daughters have the opportunity to say, well, Mom, I know it's not to your standards, but I did clean my restroom.
Sure.
And for that, I'm like, you know what? You're right. All I asked you to do was clean it. I didn't say make it like this or here's a picture and an example. It needs to look just like that. I just said clean it.
Sure.
But I go behind them and antagonize. And then that brings them down and it's like, well, what am I even doing? Like, I can't be great. And
I just yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday I went in the cabinet and I got a glass from the cabinet. I called my children into the room. Hey, would you drink from this? Would you drink from this? So why do you expect somebody else to drink from it?
Right.
That's good.
But it's like living with example, right? If you, like, I tell people just like, hey, if I'm doing this, if I'm scrubbing toys, I'm doing this. I don't, I do things. I don't expect people. You know what I mean? You have to do the things. You don't expect somebody like, hey, you know, if you don't do it yourself. Right. It's like, I think one thing that with raising my boys, I always want to be the example. Not perfect. Right. But you have to be the example. Just like, hey, if I'm doing this and this and this and this and this, you know what I mean? You live by example, right? But just like with like dinner time for us, like, we live such a busy life. I do real estate. I'm doing this and this and this, right? Yeah. So dinner time is very, very important for us. So we put the phone down, whatever. This is the time. Hey, how are your days doing? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Right? But so I would, prepare dinner, but then like when my kids would sweep, prep the table. Right. They all had their little things. They had little chores. Yeah. Because I didn't want my boy to grow up like, okay,
I'm expecting them to clean. I'm expecting them to cook. I'm expecting them to put up
like
everything.
Like a woman. Like, okay, so traditionally, just like the Asian culture, my mom, she cooks, she cleans, she does everything. I don't want my boys to be men. I'm thinking the wife is going to be doing all this. Like, she's going to make doing this and this. And I don't want them to be raised. Like, if a woman does that, because, it's fine. Right. But don't expect somebody to do that for you when you're perfectly capable of doing it yourself.
Right. And that's the thing that we're not teaching them.
And I think that's a lot.
Be capable of doing it yourself. You may live a long while before you choose to be in a relationship or get married or even have roommates.
And I think
you need to clean.
That's basic human thing.
Right. A lot of men don't leave home because mom has done everything for me.
And if I can't find a woman,
match that.
Yep. But if I can't find a woman who cooks like my mom, cleans like my mom, and does it without complaining. Because moms for their children or their boys, sometimes they're like, that's okay, baby. You go out there and you play. I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna clean you. I know grown men. Their moms still go in their room, take their dirty laundry and wash them, and make their beds and clean their restrooms. And I'm like, are you being serious? You can't do. This is why you don't do shit, because your mom does absolutely everything. Exactly. And then they meet women, they fall in love or in strong like for a long time. Then they have children and they start families. But then you're still comparing me to your mom. And it's like, yeah, no, I could have told you in the beginning, I am not like your mom. I'm not going to pretend to be like your mom. I am not your mom. I work and I provide and clean. You can do the same thing.
Exactly.
And I think it's unfair. These gender roles that have been set by I don't even know who, but you can even go back and look at TV shows that long ago.
I think there's a balance in absolutely everything. And we all know that.
It should be.
And I think women were given those roles because they're the hardest roles. And we can handle that shit.
Yes.
And so, it takes creativity, it takes intuition to fucking cook a meal. Because you cooking 3 different, courses, but you got 3 different things that are going on. Yes. And only women are capable of, just shut the fuck up.
No. I see where you're going, but no.
Yes.
Not actually.
First and foremost, yes. Yes, they are.
They're capable, but do all women want to play that role?
Again, there's a balance, because some days I don't want to play that role. Okay. So if you don't ever want to play that role, that's your choice.
That's my choice. Okay, did you hear her? I don't want to play that role. I will clean the hell out of a kitchen, but do not expect me to
But women are known to be me, multitasker. They're known to be great multitasking. Men can only focus on one thing. Women, we can do this. We can be like having a baby in the hip and doing this and sweeping, and having the phone, making deals and this and this. I mean, many times.
But I feel like if men were given the opportunity, they could do the same thing.
Well, it takes
they
time
should
and
do the
energy
same
type of
thing. Because there are a lot of men that really want to do these things. And I'm sorry, I just haven't met one yet. But if you're out there, you can definitely have a baby on your hip, cook and clean, and I will pat you on the back and suck the shit out of your dick every single time because I appreciate you playing that role. I don't believe in gender roles, okay? I could definitely be with somebody who stays at home, who will take care of the children while I live and work my career, who will cook and clean, cook and clean, cook and clean.
Is that combo?
Exactly. You can't do one or the other. You're going to cook and you're going to clean. Because again, remember, I'm out here working.
I remember one time.
And you supporting me.
I dated this guy. It was some years ago. And he flat out told me, he's like, I expect my wife to make more money than me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, really? You don't want to try?
But why did he say that?
I don't know. We didn't go into detail. I was shocked by the comment, and I was like, really?
I think I would still be with that man today. Just because he had the balls enough to tell me that up front. It's like, you know what, that is real attractive. It's stupid, but it's real attractive.
You respect his honesty.
I respect that.
You may not agree with the things, but you respect people's honesty.
And in my 20-year-old mind, I'm like, that ain't fucking fair. I want to do that.
Well, I'm not going to be that motherfucker for you.
I want to be the one that stay at home.
Yeah. Do you really want to stay at home, though?
Man, I tried that shit. That shit was not fun.
Let me tell you, I've never tried that shit.
I tried.
And maybe before children, but I don't even think before. I would get bored. Mm-hmm. And so when I was pregnant and at home during that time, and then after having a baby, I was literally doing like a countdown, like, I cannot wait to get back to work. Like, I wonder what they're talking about, and I wonder what they're doing in the office. And this is the time where everybody would be going to lunch. And then I'm breastfeeding, and then I'm putting the baby down. Then I'm changing. I'm like, man, right now they would be doing that. I'm literally like counting the day. I never wanted to be a stay-at-home person. Mm-hmm. And people would say, well, what if you won the lottery? Because that's the only thing you can do to be a millionaire, apparently, is win the lottery. Right. What if you won the lottery? And I was like, I would work. I still would work, but I would just put my work earnings to the side for my children so that they can invest in their futures. So me understanding that I'm going to give them a sum of money at a certain age, and I want you to invest in your future. Right. Whether you have a great goal and it makes money, or you just did something, and the wind blew and it's like, it's like, well, I gave you that money so you can set up your future and try to secure your own bag with that. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a success or not is not up to me, because my only end goal was to give you this money so you can set up your future.
Yep.
Sure. But I never wanted to be stay at home.
Since we still talking about children.
Oh. Why do we do that?
I told you, moms. It consumes us.
We swear.
So much.
We swear we're never going to do this. And
every time.
I'm not talking about them damn kids. Fuck them kids. I ain't talking about those kids. Fuck them kids. This is about me and my sanity. You know why we talk about these kids so much? Because this is a part of our therapy. Yeah. We talk about our kids with you guys because we know you understand.
Yes.
That's why we do it. That's why
I said I love women. I know how hardworking they are.
Yes.
And, like my sister, we have a 2-year-old, right? Mm-hmm. And as mom, we're hard on ourselves.
Yes.
It just like, okay, just for instance, it's the way you speak to yourself. Like, for instance, like I heard a woman say, "Oh, I'm fat." I'm like, don't ever say something like that, because would you allow somebody else
to say that
about you?
No,
yep.
Exactly.
It's what you say to yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I would not allow somebody to say, hey, you're fat or ugly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But so why would you speak to you in that same tone?
Right.
Or that same thing?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because you wouldn't allow somebody else to speak that way.
Exactly.
So, and as moms and as women, we need to work on that.
We do. We do need to work
to
ourselves.
To ourselves.
Right.
Because
this
is the longest commitment you're ever going to have
is with yourself. So why do we, and that was my point, why do we wait so long to figure out who we are and to fall in love with who we are and to pat ourselves on the back for how far we've come and where we've been and where we're going? And it's like,
we're just trying to save the world. That's all.
Fuck the world. We need to save ourselves.
Well,
I can't throw you a lifeboat and I'm out here like, no, I'm just gonna drown. I'm pissed at myself in the world. No, we need to save ourselves so we can be better at saving our family, friends, and communities.
Well,
and we're
just
not
like
doing
anything,
that.
you got to make sure your cup is full.
Yeah. And right now,
Right
it's
now,
not.
and it looks like your cup ain't full.
Her cup was empty.
I'm just saying, you got to make sure your cup is full. Not
My
only
cup
full,
is
it's overflowing.
empty.
Right?
So you can give to other people.
Exactly, because I can't give to you
No,
with just this.
just because somebody comes, okay, I need this and this is, well, even if you wanted your true essence, like, I really, really want to help you. But if you don't have it,
I can't.
how are you going to give that to
and
somebody?
sometimes not having even can be with your time and your mental space.
Yes.
I'm sorry I cannot listen to you right now. I'm sorry that you're going through that. But mentally, for me, I'm going to be unavailable to you. I'm not going to be able to at least even just hear you. Because sometimes women just want somebody to listen. And it's like, you still have to be fair to yourself.
We can talk ourselves into the solution most times.
We can. If we give ourselves a minute, we can talk ourselves into that. Opposed to going to talk to so many people looking for somebody to come along and save the day. And that used to be me. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, if I have a conversation with enough people, somebody gonna figure it the fuck out for me. And then once people stop answering, I'm like, God, ain't nobody in my corner. Nobody want to hear me. And he's like, bitch, I am trying to show you can help yourself out of where you are if you just sit down and be quiet and be still.
Well, the core of human, where we all want to be loved, seen, and heard. That's the core of human.
Yeah.
So we don't get that. And we're not talking about like physically talking.
Right.
I'm just talking. We all want to be loved. We want to be seen and heard, and we don't when our voices. We don't feel like we're voices, not we're not heard. We get, we get angry and we react.
Right.
Instead of responding.
Right. Sometimes we react instead of responding. That's good. I'm going to have to tell my daughter that. Because sometimes she gets into this mode and she's literally just reacting. And I'm like, no, take a moment and be still. She's been having a lot of anxiety lately. And I'm like, no, just be still. Just be quiet. Just don't say nothing.
So if your daughter wanted to tell you something,
just no. Just be still. Take a moment. Just breathe.
And it was really,
write it down.
Really serious.
Record it.
Yeah, she gonna write it down and be like,
she gonna be like, bitch, since you ain't want to listen to me, I had to send you a video because you wasn't listening. Yeah, no, I'm like, and I know that I see a lot of myself in my teen, and I'm like, that's not good. But I didn't have a voice, and I didn't have anyone to listen to me. We also have to know how to turn people on and off in the right way.
Sure.
And so with my children, I want to make sure I'm very in tune to what's going on with them because sometimes they take a long time to even communicate.
Well, there's a root to it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. There's a reason why, like I said, for my boys, because I know, just a little bit going back to the difference with boys, they're not really more vocal and they're not really more emotional type of thing, right? So that's one thing that I noticed is different about boys and girls. But I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I just know that women,
it is a difference. Yeah,
we're a little bit more emotional, because of how God made us. We're more intuitive. God made us that for a reason.
Correct.
So with boys, I want to always make sure that they're open communication.
Yeah.
Even with my kids. My kids are older now, and I still love them. They're still, but I always want them to know it doesn't matter if it's, 5 a.m., 2 p.m., you can always call me.
Right.
So what if your child, one of your sons called you and they said that they committed a crime and they gave you all the details? Would you turn your son in?
Honestly, probably. Because I always want to try to do the right thing. I mean, I would listen to him and understand what he's going through. And I actually had a conversation with my son. Something, I wouldn't say not similar, but not a similar thing. But he called me. He had a breakup with his first girlfriend. And I met the girl, and it was the first girlfriend that he introduced me to. And my ex-husband didn't like the girl, but I've never met her because I'm always going to give you the benefit.
Right.
Let me meet her.
Yeah.
Let me meet her.
Yeah.
And then I'm smart enough. I'll make the executive decision
for yourself.
You know what I mean? So I met her. This is right before he went to the military, and she seemed like a nice girl. I mean, at the age, she was a couple years younger, whatever. Really didn't agree about it. But I'm like, let me meet her first.
Yeah.
And she seemed like a sweet girl, so we went to lunch, whatever. This is during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And but I felt like he was going too fast because when it's first love, you you dive deep.
Yep.
You dig deep.
You do.
Yeah.
Okay? And I know that, remember, I had my first son when I was 18 years old. So I was like, and he was 18. Karma's a bitch.
Wow.
Wow. So why did they break up?
So he called me once. So they broke up, right? He was teaching the military. He was joining the military, and they end up, well, they were still seeing it. They were still, he was stationed somewhere else.
Yeah.
And like, so I'm gonna give him the bit. Like, I thought she was a sweet girl. She was, driven. She was gonna be a veterinarian.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. And I was like, she seemed like a nice girl. I met her family, whatever. Like, I'm just let me meet everybody.
Yes.
Let me meet everybody. Let me meet everybody, and you know what I mean. Then I'll figure it out. Let me process it. Let me just figure out. Give me all the facts, right? So I was like, okay. So whether I agree upon it, I just want to let me give me all the facts. Give me everything, all the facts first. And so he calls me one night. He was drinking. And he was like, I don't remember what time it was. And he's like, he was calling me one night. He was like, hey, Mom, why don't you like, her name was, Jenny, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you like Jenny, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you give him your blessing? Because he was like, hey, Mom, it's my middle son. Anybody has a middle son?
Yeah. I'm the middle child.
We already know. I'm the middle child too. So we already know. Okay.
Exactly.
We all get this disclaimer. I'm the middle child. Okay.
Right.
So my son calls me up. He was like, hey, I know you're not gonna like this, Mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know you're not gonna like this, Mom, but I just want to know that I really love her and I want to marry her.
Oh my God. At 18?
No, this was. I think he was like 19.
Okay.
20, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Still young.
Still young.
Yes.
Still young.
The first one, you don't know.
And I was like, listen, honey. I was like, so I'm like, I said, okay. I had to take a breather. Because I don't ever want, because the thing about it is, what is it that's saying, what resists persists type of thing. Like, I don't want to, I always want to be open with my kids. I'm gonna give my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they, so I said, okay.
Yep,
So I told my son, I said, okay, if it's real love, I said, I don't care if you guys are engaged for 2 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if it's real love, it's really, really true love, you'll wait.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
I said, I don't want you to break up. I'm not saying anything.
Right.
I met her, and I think she's a nice girl. I don't really necessarily agree with everything. But if you say this is true love,
you'll wait.
you say this, you
What's the rush?
Business.
It ain't going nowhere.
What is the rush?
Yeah.
Why y'all need to get married for? If you're married because for the military, it's all the wrong reasons.
Right.
I want you to get married for all the right reasons.
Right.
I said, listen, I'm a matchmaker. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, listen, I'm not a marriage expert, but I can meet people.
Right.
Yeah.
I said, but I tell people if it's real love, whatever, why wait? Stay engaged for an average engagement is 18 months.
Right.
How long have you been dating the girl? I'm just saying, stay engaged. I'm just telling you, statistic-wise,
Right.
we'll get numbers now, not because I'm Asian, but statistic-wise, you know what I mean? Let's talk about this, right?
Right. Right.
And so he was like, I said, so that's why at the end of the conference, I said, just wait. Stay engaged for 2 years.
Yeah.
So then he was like, okay. You know what I mean? I was like,
So you semi gave him your blessing.
no, I didn't. I just stayed engaged. I didn't want to break. And it's not that I want to break. I want him. I don't want you to get married.
Yeah.
18 years is too young.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
18, 19 is too young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be engaged for 2 years, then come back, talk to me.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So he was called me one night, and I knew he was broken heart. He's like, why don't you give my blessing, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I almost lost my shit. I did probably lose my shit. And because first of all, he threw me off guard. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, yeah. I'm like,
You think it's
stumbling
something
around,
wrong?
stumbling. I'm like, hey, everything okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, everything okay? Are you alive? You know what I mean? Because I'm
Yeah.
like, and I could tell he's been drinking. I'm like,
Yes.
you're not driving, are you? You know, I get in the mom mode. I'm like, you better not be driving. You know what I mean? Type of thing. Are you okay? Alive and well? You know what I mean? I get this mom mode. Yeah, my mom's fine. Mom's fine. Everything's fine. I'm like, okay. What's going on, you know? Because I never had this open relationship where I could tell my mom or my dad, you know, type of thing. So he was like, yeah, he goes, I still, because he told me him and the girlfriend broke up. And I never really asked, whatever type of thing. And he was like, you're like, why don't you get my blessing? I was like, I was trying to lose. I said, because you're too young.
Mm-hmm.
You think you know it right now.
Yep, you do.
I was there. I said, listen, you're preaching to the choir. I had 3 kids. I had, like I said, I had them 18, and then I got married 6 months later. We were married for 20 years, the only man I've been with my whole entire life. So I know hard work.
Yes.
I know dedication. I know sacrifice.
Yes.
It's in the definition.
Right.
You can find my name loud and clear.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and I said, because you think, so I almost lost my shit. I said, listen, you're whatever, 19, 18 years old. I said, you think right now you know it all. I was there. So the difference between me and you is I had responsibilities. I had other people that I had to think about. You know, you have to think about your actions, what you're going to do, right? And I said, and I said, because you maybe will understand it 5 years, 6 years. And just like me and my mom, like my mother and I relationship, it's wonderful. She's like my best friend now. Yeah. It's so beautiful and it's so amazing. Right. But it took many years to get that. Yeah. Because I had to come from a place of understanding, you know?
And sometimes we don't get to that place until we're actually in that place. Yeah. Ourselves.
Because sometimes, like, you know, like for instance, you know, moms, maybe we don't want to say a lot of things, and that goes back, we're trying to protect our kids. But really, what are you really protecting? Because the truth would always come out.
Exactly.
Right? So even when I divorced, I didn't really want to tell my kids about everything, all the dynamics going on. Because I was thinking, I don't want to tell because I want to protect them.
Yeah.
But you cannot shield the truth. It's always going to find light. Light will always come out.
Yeah.
You know? So you know, I just tell them, you know, you're young. Talk to me in 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, but
have y'all had that conversation since
get some life under your belt.
Exactly. Yeah, get some experience.
Have y'all had that conversation since then?
Yes. So we had this conversation.
Were y'all laughing about it? Remember I was in love with that girl.
I know, right? I know. He's like, remember that? I'm like, exactly. 6 months ago. Right? which is like, 6 months, but to them, when they're so young, it feels like 6 years. Right? Yes. That was like last week. He's like, yeah, that was so long ago. I'm like,
I know. That's
but you know how it is with her. Yeah, that's how it is, right? Exactly. That's how it is. But I guess we're talking about, you know, how life does pass you by. But that's why it's so important to stay in the present. You know, it's said present to be a reason, but sometimes we live in the past.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of times.
And we're not in the present. Or, you know, I mean, it's great to, you know, focus on the future, but what we have to really focus on is the present, who are there for you, who are, you know, type of thing.
Exactly.
But a lot of times we live in the past. We like, and you have to forgive yourself.
It's okay to live in the past or to, you know, remind yourself of what had happened or has happened. But you can't stay there for too long. So it's the timing, I think.
Y'all attacking me.
What? What? Yeah, you just can't stay there. You gotta, you know, remember it, figure out what you were supposed to learn from it, and then use it today in the present. So yeah, I get that.
Well, Keita, I remember when I was going through my divorce, I was going through this very, very hard time. And I was drinking a lot, and I was trying to deal with this unhealthy coping mechanism, right? That I just didn't know, because these are different emotions I never experienced before. Yeah. I didn't know how to be alone. I mean, like, I was like, what am I, like, I didn't know what, like, you know, my kids were gone. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with my time? Like, I don't know what to do with myself, you know what I mean? I'm like, what am I, you know what I mean? And I remember my assistant at the time, like, what makes you happy? I'm like, what do you mean makes me happy? Like, what question is that?
What's happy?
Exactly. Like, it's just simple. What makes you happy? I'm like, how insulting to ask me what makes me happy.
Because you're rambling because you're trying to find the words of, well, fuck, I don't know. So, this is not what happened.
My kids make me happy. They're like, no. What
you. Exactly. You.
Noi, as a woman. I'm like,
Isn't that hard?
And I'm like,
It's a question you really have to ask yourself.
Yeah, and I had to ponder it.
Exactly.
So I had to rewire my brain.
Yep.
So I was like, because sometimes we're so focused on the kids,
yep.
we're so focused on that. And a lot of times we're on autopilot, right? You wake up in the morning, you
yep.
brush your teeth,
yep.
blah, 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 blah.
Get dressed, put shoes on,
yep.
go eat
and
breakfast.
This is the first time I've ever been alone before. My
so
kids were in
funny.
college, whatever. So I was like, and he just asked me a simple question. What do you like to do? What makes you happy? I'm like,
it was like physics,
you know, type of thing.
Like,
you know?
solve this problem.
Right? Right. And it's a very simple question, right?
It is, so but it's very hard.
Yeah, so I had to ponder. I'm like, I'll get back to you.
Really? Exactly. Sometimes, man.
So would you would you tell on your kid if they committed a crime? Uh-oh.
Yes.
So,
yes, I would, because that's the good thing to do.
it's the right thing to do. You did it. You got to pay for it.
Exactly.
I can't help you.
Right.
Like, as much as I want to as mom,
Well, just
I can't.
Have they committed it already, or is this them coming to you and saying,
No, they committed a crime.
Okay, so I want to go
it.
back. We're gonna go deep a little bit. So it's about committing a crime. So after my divorce, my ex-husband committed a crime against me, so to speak. So he's pretty much like, I want you back, but I can't have you, and ain't nobody gonna have you, right?
He started stalking you?
Oh yeah, he stalked me. He broke into my house. Everything.
Oh yeah, I remember we were having this conversation.
Yeah. So even though technically,
did you turn him in?
so, I'm gonna tell.
Oh my God, hurry up and answer the question. Hurry up and answer the question.
Part 2.
Don't you hate those? To be continued.
Right, we'll be back after these messages.
We'll get details of it.
Oh my God.
So, because to me, how I viewed my ex-husband, it was like an extension of my children. You understand? I didn't have a family.
Yep.
We were together for so long. So for me to hurt, because I don't try to be evil.
So you didn't?
You know what I mean? So I tried to. No, I did.
I got my answer.
I did. And
that's what he gets.
But you were thinking you were really
so I'm gonna tell you. So after my divorce, I was going to like a Christmas party, like the next subdivision, whatever.
Yeah.
This is how it happened. So he took my son's phone. I knew it was like me and my girlfriend were like at Buffalo Wild Wings having a couple drinks. And it was like across the street from my subdivision. Anyways, to make the long story short, he took my son's phone, pretending it was my son. I already knew it was my son because I could tell his verbiage.
Yes,
and stuff
exactly.
Like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I was like,
we pay attention, mother.
yeah, I'm like, listen, women, we are very articulate. We
I'm
know
drinking,
exactly.
but
I know. So I was thinking, like, why is my son text me at this time? And like, wondering where you at, mom? Like, my son is not gonna be worried where he had arrested. Like this does not add up. It was very suspicious to me. I'm thinking. At first, I was thinking like. So we're sitting there, we're having girls, just like us. We're sitting there, and my son's texting me. It was like, I think it was like around like midnight. We're like, where are you at, mom? Like, blah, blah. I was thinking like, at the time my son was like 18, 19. You know, I was thinking like,
why are you looking for me?
Yeah, like, he wouldn't be texting me like,
right? He would be texting a girl.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he wouldn't be texting me like. Yeah. And then one of my girlfriend was like, oh no, that's your ex-husband. I was like, is this, whatever. And I was like, because why would my son text me? Yeah. He knows that, he has a wrestling term, like everything, like, it just sounds very suspicious to me. But it didn't add up to me, right? Yeah. I think with me, I wouldn't want to say naive, but I never thought he would use my kids as leverage or as pawns, okay? Because there is technically a thin love between love and marriage type of thing, but you did this to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you left him.
No, he left. Well, he was cheating on me.
Right, but you left him.
I was done with him.
Right.
Yeah.
That was his thing, though.
Right.
Like,
I'm
literally supposed to have you and this person. Yeah. But you fucked it up for us because you left
me. And his morbid narcissist type of thing.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm thinking, but you did this to me. There's always there's always like a reaction, type of thing.
Absolutely.
Like, there's like, oh no, I'm not gonna allow. I mean, listen, no.
Yeah.
So, so I went back to my house, right? And I'm thinking of it, right? Going back to my house, and I have these like blackout curtains, whatever. But they had my blinds up, so it's like a peekaboo, like you can see the lights. Yeah. I know I'm kind of really weird like that. So, and I just had like yoga pants. We went to an ugly Christmas sweater party, one of my work events. So I just took my sweater off and I just went to bed, right? So then I see somebody hunched to my bed, right? Like like that yoga position, you know what I mean? Hunched in bed, and I had my phone like on an extension cord. So I'm very I'm a light sleeper to begin with. Yeah. So I like woke up movement. I see a shadow. So I started screaming. I was like, bah, 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 like who the fuck's in my house? Blah, 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 type of thing. And then he stood up. He's like, I was thinking, oh hell no, I'm really gonna die.
This motherfucker.
Yes. I was like, oh hell no. I was like, oh hell no, I'm going down, right?
Right.
So I was like screaming at him, like boom, boom, boom. And of course, try to use the kids. It was like, oh, you're not a good mom, blah, 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 And I was like, so I'm getting all defensive. Then my brain snapped. Because now you really start thinking in your right mind. You're thinking, okay, it's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. This person that puts it in the house. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, he's really going to try to commit a crime and hurt me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So, he threatened me, blah, 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 that night.
Yeah.
So I had to think of mine. I was like, okay, I'm going to play this defenseless,
Yep.
woman, like, oh. So I started fake crying.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I'm in survivor mode, love.
Yeah.
No, at this point, I was like, he's crazy.
Yeah.
But you can't tell somebody he's crazy because that's
you
just
can't do that.
ignite them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then I was, cause I was still kind of shocked, like he's in my, you know what I mean? I was thinking like, okay, this is not normal, Noi. Like, I started talking to myself into this, in my head. So I was like, I have to survive this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What am I going to do? So I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to go back to church. I'm a horrible person. I'm a horrible human being. And, find fake crying. I'm just like, but then he ends up leaving. So I'm like, oh. So I grabbed my keys to my Escalade. I just grabbed my keys and I just ran to my house. And the first person I called was my best friend. I didn't even call the cops.
Right.
Because I knew what he did was wrong. It was a crime what he did.
Right.
So just kind of go back. So I called her up and I was like, hey, blah, blah, blah. He just broke up. She goes, it's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? It's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. She's like, wait, well, what's going on? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And I'm like, and she goes, oh, no, baby, you got to call the cops.
Yes.
You have to call the cops.
Yes.
But I knew to call the cops, like I said, I'm trying to protect my kids, whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I got to call the cops. So I called the cops. I'm not going to lie. These 2 cops came in. They were handsome as fuck.
Exactly. I was so scared. Please, yes, I'm so.
It's horrible.
Exactly.
So I was coming there and I was like, God knows he has a sense of humor because my life is very extreme.
Yeah.
So I'm like, distressed. I'm like, oh, these 2 cops. I'm like, okay.
I'm not afraid anymore. Please stay because that was what else
Protect and serve
me. Exactly. Or he came in my room, so someone needs to definitely sleep in here with me.
Yes,
just for my safety.
But and the most craziest thing, lady, is he was so obsessed with me. Like the next morning, I was trying to go to the gym. He watched me sleep because we have like hardwood floors in the whole entire house, and he actually, they obviously have to take evidence. It goes back to evidence.
Yeah.
So he somehow broke the door because it's forced. You can see the broken wood and all that stuff. And his footsteps, because it was raining that night. So you see how that going up to upstairs to the bedroom. And then I had 2 dogs, so I'm thinking, why would dogs would not be barking, right?
They know him. They're familiar with him.
Yes.
Yep.
So and all these played in my mind. I'm thinking like, wow.
It's like a movie scene.
It is. I'm looking like, yes. What
yes, honey, I'm making a movie. I'm capitalizing on this. Yes.
Exactly.
And there's many more stories to come with. Oh yes, many more stories.
Make an audible.
So she's gonna she's gonna write a book. I see it.
Yes.
That's the next head.
Because I feel like my earphones are on and I'm at work and I'm like, oh
no, there's many.
3.
No, that was the first time he broke in my house 3 other times.
Ugh.
We'll continue the story another time.
But you did turn him in.
He did.
Did you get a restraining order?
I
You had to. Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
I did. And so now my kids are older. I didn't tell them about it. I tried to protect them. So my voice was very like I couldn't speak about it. Because my mom was like, the only person I told was my mom. So I was like, I just never thought it would ever, because my ex-husband had a lot of mental issues. I don't ever want to talk bad about my ex-husband's, because he's the father of my children.
Right.
But it goes back. He had a lot of mental issues, had a lot of mom and dad issues.
Because he didn't have them.
Yeah.
And then he grew up.
Exactly. Now, it doesn't justify his behavior.
Yeah, because I was about to say, is that what kept you there longer? Is that what made you more understanding because you knew of his background and how he came up? So you were like, well, I really have to be there for him.
Relate. Yeah, because I think sometimes we try to save somebody.
Yep, because we couldn't save ourselves.
You know what
Women.
I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
See,
that's what we do.
That's what we go.
And then
saving the world.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think with myself, he was like I said, he was the only man I've been with my whole entire life. So, and I was isolated from my family. I was living in North Carolina at the time. So, and he made sure that I was isolated. I didn't have any friends. And even when I was making money, he made sure I didn't make enough money. You know what I mean? So it was and I didn't really, now hindsight looking in, I can see it. But when you're in that relationship,
you can't see it.
You're like literally, you're literally like this.
Yeah.
And
You can only see this
you only
way.
see this.
Yep.
So, but he knew that with me that I didn't have my family, didn't have really friends, any type of thing. And he knew, it was more, like I said, everything starts in your mind. It was very, it wasn't healthy. It wasn't
Right.
a healthy relationship. And I was like, wow. And I was like, I'm going to stay long enough till my oldest went in college. So when my oldest went in college, that's when I ended up getting my divorce and
Right.
leaving him.
Yeah.
But I was just like, 2 more years.
Exactly.
2 more years. I'm like, bitch, I've been here for 15 years.
Yeah,
For 2 years,
exactly.
it's not gonna be. And this is gonna be like, this is gonna be a walk in the park.
Yes, exactly.
but you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
But because when you're in a relationship so long, and like you said, I'm a matchmaker. When I hear people like, oh, this and this, but that's not living.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. Why would you want to half live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not. It wasn't a.
It's just surviving.
Yeah.
Right?
It's literally.
And it's not happy. And I remember towards the end of my marriage, I was losing myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was gaining a lot of weight. I was drinking a lot, and I was just not happy with myself. And I knew he was the problem, but I didn't have the strength that I just didn't have, because getting divorced and doing all that stuff, I knew it was going to be a lot of energy. And a lot of women stay in these unhealthy,
Yep.
toxic relationships.
And jobs.
Exactly.
Yep.
That old saying, you need to know when to leave the party,
Yep.
the job,
Yep.
and the relationship.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And
Yes.
we stay too long on all
We
of them.
stay too long.
all of them.
Too long, honey.
Exactly.
Too long.
I've done that before. I've equated relationship and work, and a lot of times we will stay far too long just because I can live off of this. This is comfortable. I mean, I know what to expect.
You used
so
to it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And we still stay too long. But like we've been on some of these topics. And on that note, we're gonna take a break and we're gonna be right back. Welcome back to the point. Exactly.
Just say welcome back to
Okay.
Women Ruling the World. That's all.
That's what I'm
Oh
saying.
my God.
Well, cheers, ladies, to ruling
Exactly.
the world.
Right.
Yes, I'm
Cheers.
having fun with you, ladies.
We're
You gotta
having
save
so
it
much
now.
fun.
You gotta save it. It's in save mode.
For us. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. We're here with Miss
Noi Luna.
Yeah, and we've been having so much fun. We've literally gotten lost in conversation. We could typically be on fuck shit, but we've been on some real zen,
Right?
figuring it out type shit today. And I'm loving this. This has been amazing. So thank you again
Thank you for
for
having
being
me.
our guest. And welcome back. Oh guys, I have a joke.
Oh Lord.
I did. Don't do that, guys.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's not part of it. Okay.
What's your joke? What's your joke?
Yes, exactly. Why did the tree take a nap?
Because it was tired.
I thought it was because it was weeping.
For rest.
Forest.
It's funny, okay, guys?
Boo.
I laughed so hard that my tear ducts on my right eye just won't stop just flowing. Yes.
Boo.
It's allergies and it's for rest. And so, welcome back. Now I'm going to hand it over to my co-host to roll this shit in.
Yay.
And
Okay.
she keeps forgetting that we do have another camera here
I got.
for our guests.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep doing.
You
this.
keep doing it. You need to be a hand tucker like this and not like this.
I need to be down here. Like everything.
It needs to be a laser here for you to get
Like- or like
every
this.
time you put your hand over here.
Like-
Damn it. Let our beautiful guests be seen. Okay?
Okay.
For rest. For the rest of our show. Okay?
Let that shit go.
For rest.
Please.
It's really funny. Like,
Can
if
you let it rest? Please let it rest. Shh, don't say nothing else. Okay.
For the rest of the
show. Let this shit rest.
Fine, for rest.
Okay. So I got questions. I know now we've already introduced Noi. She's told y'all she's got many jobs that she do.
Boss.
Which we really, really love to hear that because
women rule the world.
Yes.
She got skills.
Exactly. Who won the world? Girls.
Girls.
Yes.
Okay, exactly.
So one of her hats is a matchmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And she's explained to y'all that she's divorced now, so we're gonna have to find somebody to match her up. But what I really want to know is what is she looking for in a mate? If you're ready for that.
Well, I do have a boyfriend.
Ooh!
Match.
But rest that conversation.
Okay, so well, and that. Well, even before I had a boyfriend, I was put like my relationship status. Even when I was after divorce,
Right.
I had like a 3-carat.
Right.
Just because y'all didn't miss in the fourth row, just
Right.
Sure.
Did y'all see that?
Yeah. I'm just saying. You
exactly.
know what I mean? Just because, like, especially after my divorce, you need time to heal.
Yes, absolutely.
So, I'm making love and magic happen with people, right?
Right.
So for me, all my energy, just like when I was having my kids and stuff like that, went to them, right? So, so when I was living in New York City, that's where I started my matchmaking. So I think I told you ladies that I've always done real estate. So I use the same strategies, the same implement where, you have to ask the right questions.
Right.
It's like an interview process, but it's not really romantic. Like we're having a glass of wine.
Yes.
We're asking this. What do you do for work? What do you do for life? What do you want kids? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. But
Check
you
in the box.
have to.
Right.
You have to ask the questions, just like with real estate. You have to ask blah blah blah, because those are important.
Right.
And we're all unique.
Right.
Okay, for instance, if I would match myself with somebody,
Right.
it would be number one would be spirituality, not religious.
Right.
Spirituality.
That's extremely important.
Yes.
It is a difference too.
Yes,
Everybody doesn't understand it. Right.
So one thing is like they can't be atheists. Like I respect
Right.
everybody, but they have
Right.
to believe in something bigger than themselves.
Correct.
Just like I said,
100%.
if I would match myself with somebody.
Right.
Then another thing, like you said, they would have to be very close to their family. Like you said, but you know what I mean? There would be, because I'm like, we're all on a different journey.
Right.
So when I interview my clients or they have to, because we're all different. I never want to assume.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
And so what's important to you, and so it goes like, okay, so for my matchmaking, so, or just generally speaking, so you get those, I tell people, like, remember the bubbles that you went to high school, or, remember you went to school? So, okay, so number one, attractiveness. Okay, then you fill in your bubble. Okay, one, attractiveness. What are you attracted to? Boom, 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 right?
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody who is, like I said, mine would be a sapiosexual type of person, or maybe a brunette or something, whatever, like, you know what I mean? Whatever it's attractive to you, right?
Right.
The second one would be meaningful connections. Not talking about, I went to Starbucks, I like caramel macchiato. Oh, you
Yes.
like caramel macchiato?
Me too.
Oh my God,
Exactly.
me too.
Exactly.
You like sprinkles?
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Oh my God, we're just me together. You like lemon in your tea? No.
Okay, we're not gonna match.
Yeah, we're not gonna match.
Right.
But I'm talking about meaningful connections.
Right.
We talk about spirituality,
Right.
and it goes back to, and then it goes back to, obviously it could be something like, okay, do you want to have kids? When you're talking about, but then it's what's meaningful for you,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
What's important in your life?
Exactly.
What are your goals? What is your long-term goals, or
Yeah.
whatever it is?
Yeah.
So,
Should
and
have
then
asked these questions in my last relationship.
We get into your part in a minute. I want to let her finish. this.
Right. I love
But
this.
talking about like the meaningful connections, for instance, even though I have 3 children, technically, I could still have, more kids.
Right. Right.
Do I technically want to have more kids?
Right.
No.
And I don't
I
know.
mean, right. Sorry, but if he doesn't, okay, fine.
But okay, so for instance, I matchmake, so everything age appropriate. Have you heard of that?
Yep.
Yes.
Let's repeat after ourselves, especially all the men who are 80 years old.
Hey, that just might work for me.
Age
Halfway in, halfway out.
appropriate.
I'm looking.
I see you with an
80
older
and
man
above.
as your next boo.
I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying, like,
mature.
But like, for instance, I do like price range. You tell me, hey, Noi, I'm looking for a $500,000 house. Why would I outsource you for $1 million house?
Right. Right.
When I have perfect, capable candidates.
Yeah.
Or doesn't
and
have
you
a
have-
million.
What you're
Right.
looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna say exception type
Right.
of thing. I mean, it's like, hey, this person, I know it's a little bit more thing. You know what I mean? So normally, so to speak, I do within 10, 15 years. So for instance, like
Love
I'm
that.
43 years.
Right.
I can go down, I can go up. For
Right.
me, when I go down, it's a little bit more different because
Right.
you have to understand when people are in their 30s, they want to have children.
Not all of them. Oof.
But it's just being age appropriate. Like, a range, okay? If I'm like, for instance, I'm going to use my example. I'm 43, so I can go 30 something, 34. And I can go, whatever, 50 something, right?
Right.
But, but somebody who is, like I said, I have a client right now. They're like 65. If they're looking for a 20-something-year-old woman, this is definitely not the service for them.
I love that. So do you tell them that up front?
Oh, honey, I do. You don't think how you don't.
Never mind. You one of us. Never mind. You're like, bitch, please. Next. Oh, sorry. It was nice meeting you. Next. No. Come on.
Yeah.
Just
but I'm thinking, because if you just, like I tell people, if you're just coming to me just relying on, this is not Tinder. This is
right. People do have to understand that it's a difference. And you know what? I'm single, and people have asked me, "Are you on Tinder?" And I said, "What the fuck is that?" I thought it was like a chicken strip combo. No, I'm not. I like original. I don't like Tinder. So, I don't know what that is, but people need to recognize and realize that hooking up is not the same as a relationship.
Right.
And you have to know where you actually are and where you want to be. If you want to be in a relationship, I wouldn't start with a hookup.
Nope.
Right.
And a lot of times we do mess up that way because, the hooking up is cool, it's fun, but then it's like, okay, now what? To hook up?
Yeah.
So I explain that to people right out of the gate that
sure.
I understand I talk a lot of sex and I'm very comfortable in my sexuality, whatever way that may go for me, but I want more than just a hookup.
Need substance.
Exactly. I'm eating meat again, so I need I need more than that. So those are all.
So a lot of my clients still have like, they're like, I'm so sick or tired. So of going through like Tinder, Bumble, and I'm not trying to talk negative about them or any of these websites.
Or we are.
But then you're trying to. And a lot of time people do that. They just want to, hook up, or they just want to like just that pastime. They have no intentions actually trying to date you. There's a difference when a man or a woman is trying to date you or fuck you.
Yep.
So to speak,
it is.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And my thing is, why can't you just be honest about
it?
Your intentions, because your intentions up front.
I do just want to fuck you.
You know what I mean?
I don't have any.
And just like after my divorce, I will speak the truth. After the divorce, I was married for 20 years. The only man. Hold on.
Exactly.
The only man
I've
only been with my whole entire life.
Sad.
So.
So sad. Your vagina was begging for some meat.
That's another part too. After the dark.
Exactly. Reach after dark. We will do that.
but so I didn't know what it was. And like, at the end of the day, people are like, oh, people have to understand how human are. Like somebody who finds you attractive, you have these like these things in your brain.
Yes.
Like, yes. But it's not. It's a temporary.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just temporary type of thing.
But if you're looking for temporary,
stop. So do you ever have clients that come in and say, I'm looking for a man who has money?
I have a lot. Well, I have very interesting clients.
So they want you to be the millionaire matchmaker.
So I have a million clients. But I always like my job is to filter. What is your, and like I said, I'm not a sit and judge.
Right.
Because in the day that's not my place.
Right.
My place is to see if you're going to be a good match for me. It's
correct.
a good thing. If you're looking for something, this may not be. But go ahead and live your life, boo.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Type of thing. But I always want to figure out what your intentions are. So, for instance, okay, so I'm just using as just a scenario. So somebody who's maybe in their 60s, I'm just saying in 60s, and I'm talking about age appropriate, what type of thing, but so for instance, like some women be like, hey, because as women, okay, people have to understand as women, we naturally are looking to be protective and somebody who want to be a secure relationship, whether it's finances or something like that.
Right,
okay,
right.
So for instance, for myself, I would not date somebody, not talking about money-wise, that is not as successful as me or has no aspirations, who want to be better. Right? They may not be there, but they're trying to be there, right? I can't date somebody who's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like,
I don't really care about what I do.
You know what I mean? Type of thing. Like, okay, what are your goals in life? Especially if you're trying to do this stuff.
Right.
You want somebody to be on the same page as you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, if, like I said, some women, okay, I have a woman who come in there like, hey, I want looking for somebody. Who doesn't want somebody who's looking for being somebody financially stable?
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Absolutely.
Now, there's a difference where, not judging, but I have a woman like, hey, I want somebody who take care of me. And there's nothing wrong with it.
Right,
Maybe
right.
she lived a hard life or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's a guy who wants to take care of it. Not because she's not capable.
Correct.
But who doesn't want to be spoiled and wined and dined? You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm just saying, but as long as you understand, you know the attention's up front.
Yeah.
Correct.
Where this woman, wants to be spoiled, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as you know up hand and
Right.
front and don't have,
Right.
any type of malicious or type
Do
of
you
thing.
ever have men clients that are telling you, I want to find someone who I can spoil and take care
absolutely.
of, and I have no intentions of letting them meet my family?
Absolutely. I don't know about this stuff. But you ever read the love languages?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 5 love languages. And I'm not an
Okay.
expert, so don't quote me or anything like
Right.
that. But there is still, it's love. Gifts is one of them. Like, for instance, my mom. I had to understand with my mom. So, like, when it was acts of service is showing up. So acts of service means, like, showing up. So when I was living in North Carolina a long time, I was thinking, like, because I lived myself on the East Coast for 20-something, and nobody came and visit me. My brother came and visit me once out of 20-something years. I had, like I said, I didn't see my mom.
Yeah.
I had to go fly to her.
Yes,
but
right.
She never came in. Like I said, I'm not mad at her.
Right.
But I'm just saying, to me, it's very important for me to people to show up in my life.
Yeah.
That's one of my
Yeah.
love languages.
Yeah.
Or,
Show up.
show up.
Yep.
Like, say what you do,
Yep.
do what you say,
Yep.
and follow through with it.
Yep.
There
Show
you go.
up.
That's acts of service is
Yeah.
the
Right.
thing. Or type of thing, you know what I mean? There's 5. So, and gifts is one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, like I said, it's still a love language.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like
That's
I said, you're
not
gonna
But everybody
only
doesn't
thing.
speak the same
Yeah.
language, though.
exactly.
That's
So
not-
you're gonna have your
Right.
dominant one, and then
Right.
you're gonna have your other one. But that's what I said. It goes back to you're asking the question about money. Well, this is gifts.
Right.
For instance, like for instance, I never had a wedding ring. I never had anything. You know what I mean? I've always worked all my whole entire life.
Right.
We always, like, my parents were rich, whatever. I grew up with very immigrant parents. So
Right.
you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
everything that I had, I gave to my kids. I didn't give to myself.
Right.
Right.
If I had
exactly.
extra
Same thing.
$5,000, who am I
Same.
going to give it to?
Same. Kids.
I'm not going to buy myself.
Ungrateful ass
Exactly.
motherfuckers. They got it all.
But you understand the
I do.
concept.
I do.
You understand. So if I get extra,
My love language is obviously going without. Here you go, you guys.
I give everything.
welcome.
Here you go.
I have nothing, and that's why I have an attitude. So.
Yeah. But those are still acts. It's a love type of thing, right?
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So once you kind of understand people's love language type of thing, so to answer your question, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I just need to know what your intentions are prior to that.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I don't want to get you with someone that you're gonna hurt them, and
They're gonna look at
You're-
you because
you
they're
know.
like, you're the one who put us together.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
It
That
comes
goes
from a place
against
of
you.
understand. Like I said, we're all different. We're all on a different type of journey, type of thing. I don't even go with the, like I said, age. It's just how people are.
Yeah.
So, like I said, but just technically, when I do matchmaking, it's with them. But I don't go, okay, this person is this. I'm not gonna. No, because for instance, I had a lot of life skill.
Right.
I can go up and down.
Correct.
Yeah.
And just like I said, like yourself, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't, but I'm just saying, technically, when I'm looking for a match for you, why would I outsource that when I have perfect
Exactly.
Yeah.
Inventory.
people
right.
this thing?
Right here.
But I want to say, hey, I'll do this person because he's in shape or whatever this may be, like, whatever, 20 years a senior, but whatever, because I have clients who are like 60s, I'm not gonna lie, 60s, and they're well shaped, they're educated, and they're like looking good, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I'm like, don't judge the age. I never want to put the age.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I've never been a person to judge age though.
I think in this time, I think that 40 is not the 40s from 20 years ago.
Exactly.
60 is not the 60s.
No,
Exactly.
it really,
So
that's
it's
what
different.
I tell people. Number one thing, be olded.
Yes, and
because
they
whatever,
have
whatever you've
fine
been doing,
grandfathers
whatever you've
out
been
here.
doing, whatever you've been doing
wasn't
before,
working.
it was not technically not working. This is the
Oh,
basic,
girl.
So I tell people.
She always think we talking about her. I don't know why.
I talk about me. It didn't
It's
work.
like-
Oh well.
you come from
I
a
took that
different
L.
experience. So just because, you know what I mean, don't I said
absolutely. I learned a lot from my past relationships, and I don't harbor or I'm not angry. I just learned a lot, and that some relationships are to teach you things, and I learned a lot. And if you don't learn, you're gonna make that same mistake, and I'm not here for it. So I'm all about education.
So what?
Educationally,
everybody's been talking about Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan splitting up, and the reason is because Michael wants to get married and Lori doesn't. So she's like,
allegedly. Is that the reason?
So
did you hear her say that?
Man, I don't know. I said everybody is talking about this.
Okay.
So this is the suspected story that she doesn't want to be married.
Okay.
Is she pregnant?
I don't fucking know. You want to, let's call her.
No, hold on. No, because I saw some source. You know how people make up stories and shit. Somebody said she was pregnant and he tried to marry her and she doesn't want to get married.
Okay, I don't know all the details, ma'am. All I know is she wants to get married and he wants to get married and she doesn't.
So sometimes that does happen. If they were to go to your service, you would have found this out years ago before they wasted this year of their lives together.
They didn't have
some women have no intentions of getting married though. And I feel like I am one of those people. I just don't feel like I have to have this title, because it's a title. Okay, like to a home and to a vehicle. I don't feel like I have to have that. No, a piece of paper, like a title or deed or something like that.
Okay, it's a contract.
A contract to say that I belong to this person and this person belongs to me. There's nothing that can stop you from living seamlessly your own life, even outside of the fact that we are married. I have your name. I don't aspire to be married.
I'm just gonna say this as a married woman. There are things that you can do and can't do as a married or as a spouse. So I did a simplest thing. I was trying to go get my husband's registration updated, and I had all his information. They told me I couldn't do it because it wasn't my name that was on the title of the vehicle. And I was like, oh, so that's what we doing? Like, I can't do this as a spouse. I can't take care of my husband's business for him?
No.
So, yeah, I found that very odd.
The legal aspect of it.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, just because you have a name doesn't mean that you have access to everything of that person, though.
But some people feel that you do.
That's one thing.
I never wanted to inspire to be married, though. I never.
Well, we heard you when you said it 2 minutes ago.
That said, I want to be married and I want to live in a big house and I want to have
on my wedding day
and 2 dogs. Exactly. I've never been that person.
Okay, yeah, you was doing other stuff. We know.
Mastering the art of debation.
When I was married for 20 years because I never knew how single women were because I was married. So, and how single women were treated and divorcee because I was married for 20 years. So for me to experience a certain type of way, I was like, they looking at me like I'm like a virus or something. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. The married women do.
Yeah, and I honestly, Rachel, I never experienced it because I was married. So I'm like, oh no, I'm married.
Did you ever look at women like that though? Like, oh, here come this single bitch trying to be thirsty.
I would never say, of course I probably did because that's human nature. Because we all have our insecurities. You know what I mean? So I would want to say like I didn't because I would not be honest.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I think when I was like married, so to speak, when I was a single woman, I don't think that maybe subconscious or maybe they were intimidated by that. Because now because remember I was married for 20 years. So, and I never experienced that until I got single. Because I experienced, I can relate to the married people. Okay, I was married 20 years, boo. I got 3 kids. Okay, but when I got single, I was like, it's very different. So I had to find my single woman.
Right.
And it's just a loss of attraction, right?
Yeah.
So if I start my matchmaking, obviously if you're single, who are you gonna attract?
Yep.
Single people.
But no, typically you attract people while you're in a relationship. I know that there are many people that have probably looked at you, said something to you, have wanted to approach you because you were married. Some people aren't intimidated by a ring or a different last name. They do not care.
Right. No,
and you've always been attractive and strong. So you've never
even if you didn't know it.
Right.
You've always been.
You've had powers that you had no idea that you had, even in your marriage.
Yeah, maybe I didn't.
So I never maybe realized
she
it.
Was
I think it's the power of knowing who you are and femininity type of thing. And even though my ex-husband tried to isolate me, but I already knew how powerful it was in a sense.
Right.
Even though I was like,
yeah.
So when I kind of, it's like the phoenix when you break out for it. But I feel like I'm very relatable. Like I have children. I understand that. I was single, and I'm technically still. Well, I'm gonna say, I'm not married.
Right.
So I can understand that. And I think I was talking to you ladies where I think like great things are birthed into darkness. But it goes back to I think trying to understand people. You know what I mean? Where I can understand you're single. I can understand you're married.
Because you play both roles.
I play both. Yeah, both things. But I said I come from a place of understanding where I can understand that. I can understand because I've been there, done that, or still doing that.
Do you want to get married again?
I would love to get married again.
Really?
Yes, I would love to get married because you know, it's like that typical.
She know how to do it, so she can handle it.
Society-wise, or just naturally for you?
Well,
because I know society can put a lot of pressure on women.
I never give my life like right now. I don't give my life with limitations, and I always the type of person like break barriers. I'm a Laotian person, but people are like, even though you look Asian, you're really not that Asian. I'm like, I can barely eat chopsticks. I'm like, I tell my sister all the time, like, they're like, you're not Asian. I'm like, bitch, I am Asian.
Exactly.
They check your Asian card too.
She does that to me all the time. She was like, "You're not black."
Yeah, that's the whole thing. The whole thing where my friends who are black, they're saying, "You're not black," but I'm like, "You're not Asian." We get the same. You're not Asian.
Yes.
I'm like, "What do you mean I'm not Asian?
Exactly.
How you gonna be not Asian?" You know what I mean? And so my kids are mixed.
Yeah.
They're like, remember, I think I told they're like the whole United Nations. So my ex-husband, his mom was black and Mexican, and his father was Puerto Rican and black or whatever. So my kids are literally every single race.
Yes, that's
right?
beautiful.
So I just had a conversation with my youngest son, and he was like, because we're gonna go to go see my mom in Denver, and she's cooking pho, right?
I love pho. Oh my God.
And I'm not gonna lie, my mom's pho is really amazing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Don't judge, bitches.
Okay.
But I don't really. I mean, I cook, but I mean, like I said, I wasn't really when it's still really Asian. Remember, I moved to house when I was 18 years old. So my mom was very like, you know what I mean, like she cooked in the kitchen, like
everything.
She never, you know what I mean. She didn't really
teach you.
Yes,
right.
yes, exactly.
Right.
And then we grew up in Jacksonville, North Carolina, which is very like a small town with military base. And it was culturally, but it was like, it was very limited.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like Houston where you have all this. It was a very small town where we obviously know the race and stuff like that, but it was not like, it was small dosage, which is actually really good because we were able to process it. So, and I always wanted to know my kids' culture, even though, so my oldest son, oh my gosh, I'm dying right now. So he was like, at the time I was kind of bitter in my marriage. I was like hating life, hating life and humanity and men. And my son was like, Mom, I'm getting a tattoo. I'm like, oh, even though I have tattoos. And I was like, but what I do, you can't be doing, you know what I mean? You know that's a mom, you know what I mean?
Right?
You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying like, what I do, but I'm just saying you want the best, thing. So my son goes, I'm getting a tattoo. I'm like, you shouldn't get a tattoo. And I'm like, listen, I'm going to show you all my tattoo right now.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Oh, it's so
I saw that.
And it's big. It's not even like, here it is.
It's a cover up. It's a cover up. Yeah.
What did you do? Huh? What did you do with your son? Like what? So what did you end up?
He ended up getting a tattoo. He's like, Mom, and because you just remember, my kids are very like I'm not gonna lie to you. My kids are very respectful, and they're like, we talk all the time. Yeah. So my son was like, Mom, it was after his birthday. He's like, Mom, I'm gonna get a tattoo. And I'm like, so he got a tattoo of the moon. But it was the Laos flag. So I'm Laotian.
Okay.
My last name is Luna. So he said, he was like, I wanted, and this is during my divorce where I hated everybody.
Yeah.
So he was like, but this is how my kids are my brightest stars, by the way. My sons, all the time, my sons. But so my oldest son was like, I wanna get a tattoo that's symbolic. You and my dad, because you guys, never did all this stuff. So he got the moon, the crescent moon, in a Laos flag
That's beautiful.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Literally, it's on his chest right now.
Heartfelt.
Yeah.
That's
so at first you were mad, and then you were like, boy, don't be doing that. I mean, it's beautiful and everything. Let me take a picture.
Yes, he's like, Mom, I'm just gonna let you know I'm getting a tattoo. I'm like, oh.
At least it was meaningful.
Yes, but you're gonna get
wasn't
something
a
in your
girl's
body.
name.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. So he was like, I'm getting the moon because my last name is Luna. My ex-husband, is Luna. He's like, but it's the Laos flag.
Yeah, that's
So
beautiful.
I'm like,
you thought about this.
Exactly.
Good job, son.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Good job, son. Good job.
Gonna be the firstborn. I'm like,
Right.
okay. I'm like, because I was joking around. Because I have 3 sons. I was joking around like, his name is Junior. His oldest is Junior. I was like, Junior, you're the oldest one. My age and myself. You know what I mean? Oldest one. Everybody, the other 2 kids are always gonna follow. Try to be like him.
Yeah.
But it's so comical because my youngest one is tallest out of all 3. It's like
That's
the wrestling.
typically how it happens.
Yeah.
The baby is always the one that's the tallest.
Exactly.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
stands out. It's like the baby is like very, very different from the others.
Yes, so different.
So yeah.
But no, I'm blessed to have 3 sons. So, but I'm also blessed to have, like I said, I'm all about women empowerment. People are like, because people are like, oh, you're a man hater. I said, oh no, I am definitely not a man hater. I have 3 sons. I want men to be men.
Yeah.
I want them to lead or whatever it be. Like, you know what I mean? I don't hate men. I love
Right.
men. We need each other.
Right.
So what is your idea of a man? What is a man to you?
My idea of a man, well, is to be true to himself. Be like, you know what I mean, to be a protector and type of aspect, is to stand what he believes into. It's not so much, it's to lead, not dictate.
Yeah.
So there's another perspective of it where, where instead of telling a woman what to do, nobody wants to be told what to do. We're grown.
Nobody.
All right.
No, nobody.
Nobody.
We're not doing it.
No, we're not doing that. But it's just to lead and always be loving and kind type of thing, but also like live by example type of thing.
Yeah.
And speak to women with kindness. Because, for instance, I have a boyfriend, and you know how crazy I am. I don't know you know how crazy I am.
You're not crazy, girl. You fit right in. I mean, we crazy.
But you know what I mean?
No comment.
But even me, like, I'm really like this. I'm an Aries and I'm a fire sign. I'm like,
Oh shit,
Yeah.
you are Aries.
I'm an Aries.
That
I'm
sounds
an Aries.
like-
I'm
oh
an
my
Aries.
God.
I'm even
You
an
a
Aries.
firecracker.
Yes, I'm an Aries. I was born
Yeah.
on Friday the 13th, bitches.
Are you serious?
I am.
Wow, that's strong.
Yes.
It's like, don't
Yeah.
fuck with me.
Yes. So
I
people
will
are like,
kill you with a smile on my face. How y'all doing?
You
I'll
like
kill you.
smiling.
Yes.
I will fuck you
So
up. Yeah.
I was born April the 13th on
Wow.
a Friday, but 8:30 a.m.
Uh-huh.
I know all this because obviously I do this,
Hey.
type of thing.
Yeah.
So, but then on top of that, I'm in the Chinese New Year. I'm also a Ram, so it's a double.
Oh.
Thing. So I'm a Ram in the.
But you were still born to be strong.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I love that.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
listen, I'm
So
like,
that's why you had sons.
That's probably why. That's
Yes.
good.
That's what I'm saying. Like God does not make mistakes, love. Oh, He
Yes.
does not.
It's all like.
So do you only
statistical,
matchmake
but,
heterosexual couples?
No, everything. However, what I specialize, well, I'm not specialize, but what I'm just doing right now is just, but people have been asking me, you know what I mean? But with my matchmaking, it's customized. I don't take everybody. I don't need to take everybody. You walk into a restaurant.
Absolutely.
It's about quality
It
versus
is.
quantity.
Correct.
I'm not going to take like 20 people if I can't match you something.
Right.
What justify that?
Right. Exactly.
I'm going to take you because I want your money. No, I don't
No.
need your money. I have like 20 jobs.
Right. Exactly. For real.
You know
And
what I mean?
I think that's good that you have that mentality, because a lot of times when people start businesses, they feel like, well, I have to accept everybody and I have to take everything because I'm trying
I
to
think
grow my
that's when
brand
people
and my
fail.
business. That is where they fail, because if I know I cannot help you, I'm literally wasting both of our time.
Exactly.
And then you're gonna look at
I
me
don't
and
justify
resent me.
that. Like I
Right.
said, like I
You're
said,
gonna
I'm-
yelp me.
Yeah. Then I work in referral business.
Right.
I don't advertise.
Right.
It's referral based, because if I'm gonna do you good or do this type of thing,
Yes.
you're gonna refer me other your friends and family type
Exactly.
of thing. It doesn't,
Exactly.
like I said, I don't need like 20 million people. No.
You don't need to be tender. You're good.
She's
like
fine
I
with
said-
just her million. That's it. Don't
But
want to
yeah, so
overdo
my
it.
matchmaking is different, where it's not your swiping around, because all the day it's based, and I hear men all the time, it's based on attractiveness.
Right.
Which I get it. understand. It's a lot of work to go through. But my matchmaking is different where it's customized.
Right.
What do you want? What do you seek? Blah, blah, blah. But you
Exactly.
Like I said, I have a huge network. If not, I have a whole team.
Right.
To help you find something.
Yeah.
But then the main thing I tell people is you got to come in whole.
Yeah.
Not lacking.
Good thing.
Yeah. Because I'm not going to lie to you. Like 5 years ago, you told me something like that.
I'm bitter.
I was bitter.
I'm angry, but find me somebody.
You're not
So
ready.
where can our pinkies find you? Where can they find you for
Find
real
me on
estate?
Facebook.
Where can they find you for
find me on
matchmaking?
Facebook and Instagram. And actually, on top of that, I do fitness, wellness type of program as well, and I do meal prepping because I told you when I was married, I was very unhappy. I would never say it was heavy, or anything like that. But I didn't see, like, remember I was telling you I had my daddy issues. I didn't see my dad for like 17, 18 years old, and I was going through a very difficult time in my life. And you have this gut instinct, as woman instinct. My ex-husband was in California. I'm originally from California. And he wasn't, when you're manning, picking your phone up and all this stuff like that. I knew something was not right. But I didn't know exactly. Like, I got to go there to figure it out. So he was like, hey, I'm going to take the kids for the summer, blah, 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 to California. I was like, okay. I work. Women, we work.
Yep.
We work.
Good.
So I can't take 3 months off, okay?
Right.
It's not going to take. So, but I felt something in my spirit that was not right. So he was not answering his phone and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm going to catch a flight. And while I'm there.
Surprise a motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, my grandma, who's a Buddhist monk, spirituality is very inside of me. Whether I deny or not, it's inside of me.
Right.
So my grandma, who's a Buddhist monk, and then her identical twin are Buddhist monks. So she was dying. So I was like, I haven't seen her in like, I don't know, many years because she was in the monastery, like probably praying for my ass. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I was like, I'm gonna go see you, whatever. But anyways, to make the long story short, this is another part show. But when I saw my dad, I haven't seen my dad in like 16, 17 years. First thing he said in Laos. First thing he said to me, even though he knew I was coming and everything like that, he said I was fat and ugly.
What?
Yeah.
Your dad told
me I was
you
fat
the
and
first
ugly.
time he saw you in 16, 17 years.
Yes, I was fat and ugly.
Did you punch him in the face?
No, because I'm trying to keep this shit together.
He deserved a punch in
She's
the
like,
face.
you know what, Dad?
You know what? I'm going to pray for you.
Because the first time I went there, like, and at the time when I was processing, my ex-husband was cheating on me with the nanny. So I was like, just jumping the plane. I was like, got there. I was thinking, oh my God, is he I'm very intuitive. So I was like, okay, I don't have time to figure this out right now. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna just
so,
go.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go because I didn't stay at the house. I stayed with my one of my. Another long story, but one of my mom's best friends. So I was just like trying to process. I'm like, I don't have time for this. I'm just trying to see my dad. Like I need my energy to go see my dad.
And that's what he gave you? That's what
And
you
he
got?
told me, I was like, he said, in the Laos thing, he said fat and ugly. But redemption, I saw him 2 years ago with a different story.
Exactly. This is my thin, beautiful daughter. Exactly.
But,
successful.
But I was just like, but the time, I felt that way, but it was like kicking a horse when it's down. You know what I mean?
But it also opened you up to accept what your husband was doing too, because that added a little bit of more fire to you, because you needed to be ready.
I did.
So that's what that was. He may not even remember what he said.
He doesn't remember, but it gave me fuel. Love. It gave me fuel. So, at the time, when I was processing that stuff, I was like, and I went to go after I went to California, I went to see Denver. Remember, I didn't see my mom in 6 years. Remember, I've been away for 20-something years. And I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, am I just gonna live in this loveless marriage for the sake of pleasing everybody because, I'm married for 20-something years, but I'm very unhappy. No passion, no love, whatever. Right. What am I going to do to please other people? Yeah. So I left and I lost everything, but I didn't lose my soul.
Yeah.
Right.
And I gained everything, but I knew I lost everything, financially, everything. But I was willing to do that because the price was too heavy for me. But I'm like, the price for peace.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
It outweighs it all.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when my father did that, and people were like, oh my God, blah, blah, I was like, but then when people say stuff like that because they're not happy with themselves.
Yep. Exactly.
Because you don't say like you're fat and ugly, like okay, you're gonna like you're fat and ugly, but people, what happens like I could have took like very defensive, like oh I'm fat and ugly, but I'm just thinking like I did at the moment. I was like, how would he like say this after 20 years? Like he's a fucking alcoholic, blah, 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 you know what I mean? But I was like, okay, get it together, Noi, get it together, you know what I mean? He said that because that's how he viewed himself.
Yep.
He viewed himself. So when I saw him, people were like, you should have videotaped. I wish I should have videotaped. One thing was his what did it say? Because even the whole 16 years, he only called me like 5 times, and he wouldn't call me when he was drunk, and would just like feel like a certain type of way. And but I wanted to switch the table. Let's turn the table now. Yeah. I didn't want him to give him power. I want to give my power back. Yeah. So I was living in New York at the time, and he would only call me for like he needs something. You ever have those people when they need something, right? Yes. So my dad would only call me when he needs. I've always done real estate, honey. I'm not gonna lie, I've always been a kind of smart person. So I've always been real estate all my life. I always had the same number. When you call me, I'm your real estate girl. You know what I mean? So he called me one of the blue. I haven't talked to him for like I don't know many years. Like I said, I've only spoken to him like 6 times before I saw him. And he needed a real estate question. So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, Dad, I'm gonna get you this. And he just told me his house paid off and all this stuff was paid off. And my mom left with nothing after the divorce. So he just told me the house is paid off and all this. So I was like, yeah, all this money, right? So I'm like,
Mom, go get your half.
Huh?
Told Mom, go get your half.
And I'm like, okay. So I was like, and asked him for, we never asked for any money. After we spent many years in court trying to figure out money. And he had blocked me, whatever. So I didn't have no contact with him. That's why I showed up after all this time, after COVID. I just literally knocked on his door. Yeah. And people were like, you just showed up after like 7 years? I'm like, yes. Yeah. Because I'm like, that's kind of what I do. Because you want to block me, you want to do all this stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? But no, I heard through the grapevine or whatever thing, like the Asian community, that he was not doing well, like physically, and regardless of our relationship, I always want to know that you're doing okay. Yeah. How's your health? You know what I mean? Type of thing. So I heard that he was not doing well. And, I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of people like, type of thing. I'm like, I'm okay with myself. I'm okay with, but I want to say closure, but we're different. We're different. So I knocked on his door. I just, at the end of the day, you don't have to tell me. I just want to make sure that you're okay, alive and well. That's it. And that's all I wanted to know. Even though he shut me, like when the last day I saw him, he shut the door on me. But I just want to make sure that you're alive and well. Because I'm better than you.
Is mad at himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
He's
like, they was not supposed to be doing as well as they are.
Exactly. Because I wasn't there.
Right.
Yeah.
They
like
supposed
to need
credit.
me.
Right.
They're supposed to need me.
When
Don't nobody need me.
People like to say that they were there so they can take part of the credit. But when you're not there and your children and family are still happy and successful and healthy, it makes people feel some type of way. And on that note, we would like to thank our guests, Miss Noi
Luna. Nori.
Oh, I said Noi.
Noi.
Luna.
Oh my God, I'm back.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I fucked up names. I fuck up names all the time. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. No, it's fine.
This is why I never get to say anybody's name, because I fuck it up. Okay. Let's start over. And on that note, we would like to wrap it up with Miss
Noi Luna.
Exactly. Because you say your own name, you can't fuck it up. So we would like to wrap it up and thank all of our guests. Remember, you can always like, share, follow us, and subscribe to everything TALKinPINk. Go buy merchandise and Patreon and
Cash App,
all that good stuff. And this video was sponsored by Trojan. That's us wrapping it up. Thank you.
Don't forget to wrap it up.
Don't forget to Don't forget to wrap it up. Wrap all of your fruits and vegetables.
And where can they find you? I don't know if you.
She did.
Okay.
So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook.
noiv.luna.
Okay.
Don't forget the V.
Don't forget the V.
Don't forget the V on Facebook. Yes. V.
She do it? She do it?
I did.
I did see what you was gonna say.
I did. Literally.
She did it.
That's how you know it's a V. When you're
Sorry, Mama. Sorry, Mama.